Hello, I'm Zach from WorleyTutorials.com, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to build shapes from shapes. So let's take a look at just the basic square. So I'm going to hold Shift and expand this out, and there you go, you got a square. Now let's say that I wanted this square to have a half circle kind of cutting out of this shape. The way we can do that is by taking the click and hold and get the ellipse tool. And this is where all those different keys come in handy. So I'm going to click and drag. I want to make a perfect circle. But notice it's going to be kind of difficult to actually line this up exactly the way I want to. So the first thing I'm going to do is hold Shift and then hold Option or Alt. And then, of course, it's way out there in nowhere land. So I'm going to grab the space bar and place it right where I want it. And then just kind of slowly expand it and move it down. And there we have kind of a half circle where we would like it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and release. And now we have these two different shapes. Now, of course, we can try to fool everyone. If we grab this circle and we change the inside to white and we take the stroke out to nothing, then of course it looks like there has been a circle cut out. Now the problem with this is that if I grab another rectangle and I expand it in the background, I'm going to change this to some obnoxious color, red. Then what you're going to notice is, let's arrange this to the back, send to back. What you're going to notice is that circle is actually there. Okay, it's not just because the artboard is white and the circle is white does not mean that you've cut anything out of any shape. Now this is important because if you're trying to make a logo and you want to make it a PNG, for instance, to have like a see-through background, then of course it's going to be see-through except for that giant white circle right there that you don't really want. So that's why you do have to kind of actually cut out of the different shapes. Now, how can we do this? Well, we are going to use the circle. And what we can do, there's two different ways we can go about this. I'm going to show you the first way that I prefer, and then I'm going to show you another way that a lot of designers that have been designing a little bit longer than I have been used to the Pathfinder tool. But in this case, I'm going to show you the Shape Builder tool because I just tend to prefer to use that one. So I'm going to do Command A or Control A. And what that does is that selects everything. That's selecting all. Once I've selected both, now you don't want, let me clarify, you don't really want to do Command A all the time because if you have multiple shapes, I'm just going to make a whole bunch of different circles out here that are green. Let's say you have multiple shapes and you really don't want to mess around with all of those other shapes. You only want to mess around with the white circle and this kind of turquoise square. Then, of course, you need to come in here and select just those in order to create the shapes that you're wanting to. Otherwise, if you do Command A, you're going to select all of them, and you don't really want that. You only want the shapes you, of course, want to work with. So, I'm going to leave those green circles because why not? Modern art, right? The Shape Builder tool is right over here. I'm going to kind of hover over it for a second and zoom into it. But, of course, there is a keyboard shortcut, Shift M. So once I've selected that, here is what you will see. It's automatically starting to work because as soon as you hover over your shapes, you're going to see a grid. What this grid means is that you can either add these shapes together to make one solid shape, or you can subtract them. So let me add them just to show you what it looks like. If I click and drag, you'll see that the red outline kind of combines these different shapes. So as soon as I click and drag, it now has the grid over the entire object, all the objects. Then I'm going to release, and it now makes that entire shape all one shape. Okay. Another note is to see that the reason it changed to green is because that's the color I have selected. If you don't want that to happen, then of course you need to change the color back to the original color. But in this case, I don't really care, because I'm going to be subtracting. So anytime you want to have an option, okay, anytime you want to have an alternative choice, then of course you will always use either Option on a Mac or Alt on a PC. Hence the alternate or the alternative, and Option. It gives you an option. So anytime you have a plus, Option, of course, is always minus. So if you notice on the cursor that as I'm pushing Option, it will make it a minus symbol. So as soon as I click on any of these shapes, it actually takes the shape away rather than adding to it. So I'm going to hold Option, and I'm going to click and drag on the circle. And now you'll see that the circle is actually cut out of this shape. So if I get the regular selection tool, okay, these circles they're getting annoying. So now if I add that shape in the background that I did before, okay, well, here we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. And I'm going to change that to green because we just had Christmas recently. So red and green. Arrange, send it back. Okay. So now you can actually see that the circle has been actually cut out of the square. Now, there are tons of tutorials on how to create cool shapes in Illustrator, and it would behoove you to search out as many as possible and try to get as good as possible at that, because you'll notice that, of course, any shape that you see is created by other shapes. So, I mean, these buttons up here, you got a square with a triangle in the middle of it. Here you have a rectangle with a triangle in the middle of it. Even these squares over here, it's probably created in something like Illustrator and then exported, and it's simply just an image on top there. So, and same thing over here, like this, what is this called? The, no, it's not a chevron. Club? I don't know. That thing right there. It is 3 circles with a kind of a triangle on the bottom of it. So that you just simply look at things a little differently, and you can see that shapes are made out of different shapes. A trash can, different icons, logos, all that kind of stuff is all made from the basic shapes of a circle, square, and polygon. So do some research, try to find anything you can, try to find something cool to make. Even if you look at the icons up on your computer, like the battery, the audio indicator, the Wi-Fi, anything that you see, just try to replicate it and have fun with it.